Hey guys, it's Heather with the TEC at Horry Georgetown Technical College. In this video, we're just going to do a quick overview of the quizzing tool in D2L 10.1. You can see here that I am already into my sandbox course, and to access the quiz tool, you'll click on assignments and then the link for quizzes is right here. That will bring you to this page, and this is your Manage Quizzes page. And this is where you can manage your test, create new ones, make changes to the old ones, view the students' attempts, that kind of stuff. The next tab we have here is the question library, and this is just going to be your storage area for any questions that you've created for your tests. It's one location where you can quickly manage all of the questions for your tests and quizzes. And then the last tab here is your statistics page, and this will keep a statistics of all of the tests that you have given into the course. And we'll go over these tabs in more depth in a future video. So on the Manage Quizzes page, you can actually edit your quizzes, create new quizzes, rearrange your quizzes. You can do all of that from the Manage Quizzes page. We're going to go right into the question library here and just show you a couple quick little things. Like I said, the question library is your storage area for all of your tests and questions. You can see here I already have a section or a folder created for my test 1, and if I click on that, here's a list of the questions I've already created for that first test. When you go into a test folder in the question library, it gives you this breadcrumb navigation along the top, so you can easily navigate back out into the main question library, as well as on the left hand side you can navigate back up to the question library. To import questions from a test that's already created, you would click the import button. You're going to choose from an existing collection, and then the source collection will list all of the tests that you have created already. So if you've created a test and already put the questions in the test and you want to import that test into the question library, this is where you'll go and do that. So by choosing the test that I want and then the collection root, it will refresh with a list of all of the questions that are already in that test. You would select the collection root and then click Save. And I'm not going to import those questions here, but that's how you would go about importing the questions back into the question library. You can also use the action menu here to edit that folder, and that will take you to a page where you can change the name and add a message. If you wanted to add a file to that folder, you can do that here. And what that does is it allows you to say all of the questions in that folder are related to this file. And you can do that excuse me, by adding the file here and then display message and image. And then you can choose to display it one time or before each question in that folder. So I'm going to cancel out of there. You can also create new questions here, and I'm actually going to just go through how to create a new section, which is this little folder here. It looks like a little folder, but the system, they call it a section. So I'll create a new section for test 2. And I don't have to fill in the rest of this stuff, it's not required. The only thing that's required when creating a new section is the section name. I can skip over the rest of this, but if you wanted to add all of this detail in, you can, and click Save. So it's created me a new folder called Test 2, and if I click on Test 2, I can then create new questions by using this drop-down list. And I have all of these different question types available to me for creation. Most people are using multiple choice and true false. All of these question types will provide a way for the system to automatically grade it depending on the student's answers. There's a couple of them that do not. Long answer, you'll actually have to go in and grade it. Short answer, it will, but you still want to be sure you're checking to make sure that it marked the ones right that you want to be marked right, because you can't account for everything, every possible answer that a student's going to put in. I believe some of these arithmetic ones do not auto grade, so you'll have to grade those yourself as well. And then you can also add text information or image information if you just need an information blurb. If you have a bunch of problem solving questions and you want to just post the problem at the top, you can use that text information box to create that. And then you can also import into this folder, and if you remember, I just did this a second ago, we can pull from an existing collection, and we're going to pull from test 2, and then we want to pull from the collection root of test 2 and click save. And so it's imported that question from test 2 into the question library. You might ask, why do I want to put my questions in the question library? Why not just put them in the tests? Well, the benefit of putting them in the question library is you have a central location for all of your questions to live, and you can come in here and make changes to those questions, and it will recognize where that question lives. So if you have it in a test 1, for example, and then you also have that same question in the final exam, and you realize that there was a spelling error and you want to fix it, you can come in here and edit this question, and when you make a change, it will say this question is in this other location. Do you want to update it there? So here it's saying it's in the question library, but it's also in test 1. So if I want to update it in test 1, I would check the box there and click save, and D2L will automatically make that change throughout all of the questions and all of the quizzes. The other reason you want to set up your questions in the question library first is because you have the ability to randomize a test, but the only way to do that is to create a random folder and then import those questions from the question library into the test. And we'll go into more detail on how to do that in the future, but I think having all of your questions in the question library is a great place to start with setting up your questions, because you can come in here and you can manage them and edit them and get them all set up the way you want before you even worry about creating the test and putting them in the test. That's the easy part. It's just the managing of the questions and setting them all up that takes the most time, and you want to have a way to be able to edit multiple questions if you realize there's a spelling error or the wrong answer is marked. And that's what this question library allows you to do. So that's going to be it for this video. In the next video, we will go into creating a new test and importing questions into it and all of the settings that go into that. Thanks for watching, and we'll have some more videos for you coming up shortly. Thanks, bye.